And we are live.
Hello and welcome to Fantasmagorium Show. I'm Kat, joined by Steve, and tonight we are going to review the highly anticipated premiere of Alien Earth, the first live-action series in the Alien franchise. Showrunner is Noah Hawley of Legion and Fargo and stuff like that, so we expect good quality from this. And they dropped 2 episodes to start with. Steve, when did you watch it, and what were your initial impressions?
They did. So they dropped 2 episodes on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday night or Wednesday night? Tuesday,
Tuesday.
2 days ago. And oh man, I loved it. Um, so the first show starts out with Nina Simone singing, and the second show ends with Tool playing. Two of my favorites of entertainers of all time. So yeah, with me you can't go wrong with that. But everything in between that was I really liked. I thought the world building was great. I mean, you're automatically in it. You know, from the very first shot in the very first episode. If I do have to kind of warn people though, I think if you're looking for a ton of action all the time, this probably not. You're probably going to be disappointed because it's not wall to wall action. There's a lot of story, and there's a lot of build up, and there's a lot of character work that's going on. I always say when it comes to TV shows, I give TV shows 3 episodes to hook me. If you can't hook me by 3 episodes, then I'm pretty much out. But I was pretty much hooked after the first episode in this one.
Oh, hello, Buckaroo Brothers Productions. Welcome. Thanks for coming. Uh, yeah, I watched this yesterday afternoon with a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple things jumped out at me in terms of the timeline of the show because they mentioned Neil Armstrong in this, and the Apollo program, and I thought, okay, so that was 1969. Prometheus was set in 2089. Covenant was set in 2104, and this is set in 2120. But perhaps just for nostalgia's sake, they start with that same helmet with the red dot, whatever, when the computer starts up, and you have the same little private chamber aboard the ship that kind of like the Cocoon and Nostromo, and the computer screen seemed just as primitive, and it's like, well, the original movie takes place a century after this, so if that's what the tech looked like on the Nostromo a century later, I would have expected this to look more primitive. But they have some pretty advanced stuff in this world,
Mm-hmm.
like the net shooter gun, which can contain the xenomorph. It's like, wow, that would have been helpful on the Nostromo or on the prison planet Fury 161.
Right.
So things like that were kind of, or like the pulse weapon the guy had to totally not kill the xenomorph, but just stun it. I'm like, yeah, that would have been something I would think you would logically have aboard something like the Nostromo or the prison plane. So a little inconsistencies like that in terms of
Well, they're only inconsistencies because they haven't been addressed yet, right?
right, but I just meant it's
And
kind
they
of
may
weird.
be.
I meant when you look at how much since they referenced the Apollo program, how much the tech jumped from 1969 to 2089 to Prometheus, and how much it jumped again to 2120. I just would have expected, since you have the original movie as a template in the 2200s, if that's what tech on the Nostromo looks like in the 2200s, then you work backwards from there for where your tech is. So I just thought something about this show just seemed a lot more advanced than what we saw in the original 4 Alien movies, which were again over a century later. So that was a little distracting. Um, as for the what we get to see of Earth, we don't get to see too much of Earth. We're just told that 5 corporations control the planet, and then you have humans, then there's cyborgs, then there's androids, and now there's this attempt to try and upload somebody's consciousness into a synthetic body. And what better candidates than terminally ill children, because hey, they're going to die otherwise. But hold your horses, it's not as ethical as you think it is, because the parents and the family still think the kid's dead at the
Right.
hospital, when instead it's like a top secret program. And I thought it was interesting that they're playing Disney's Peter Pan for this girl to kind of ease her into it. And so she decides to rename herself Wendy because, like, oh, it's got to be a secret. You can't tell anybody else about this because synthetic bodies obviously don't grow. So you're putting a child in an adult body.
Right.
And subsequently, all the other kids follow suit and name themselves after the Lost Boys from the original
Lost Boys.
story. Which
That was awesome. Yeah, that was great. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. Now,
yeah.
Timothy Oliphant's character, he was just a full blown android, right?
I think so.
Yeah,
I don't think they really addressed what exactly he is, but I think he's just an android.
right.
I think he's like the bishop character.
Yeah, because they do mention that at one point where the head of this company, Prodigy, a bit of a nod to tech billionaires of today, egotistical and arrogant. It's like, oh, I created these synthetics because I want to talk to somebody smarter than me.
Yeah,
And his assistant asked him, well, what about Kirshner, the Timothy Oliphant character? And he's like, well, he's data smart. He's not. That's not wisdom. That's just
right.
So it's like, okay, so I took it to mean that he's probably an android like Bishop or Ash. And I thought, okay, this story's kind of going somewhere. And you see like New Siam in Thailand, and it's like this massive city.
Yeah,
we don't really get to see too much of it, unfortunately. I'm sure we will as the series goes on, since it's called Alien Earth. I was surprised though at the power levels for these synthetics. Like you see her jump off a cliff hundreds of feet and land on the beach, and she's fine. And I'm comparing that to like the scene when Parker swung the crowbar. It wasn't even a crowbar that he hit Ash with, and he completely ripped his head clean off. But this chick can jump off hundreds of feet and land hard on a beach and just be, perfect and pristine. So it's like, again, the tech thing is, I don't know.
And I have a feeling that's gonna be addressed. Something's gonna, because it's noticeable, right? Obviously, you noticed it. I noticed it. Everybody noticed it. They watched. Like the tech looks similar. The ships don't change much. The interiors are pretty close to the same. There's a lot of the similarities there. So I hope they, and knowing Noah Hawley, he'll address this at some point. I'm sure of it. Either that, or it's just a big glaring miss, which is unlike Noah.
Because there are multiple
in everything he's done. He's been very, thorough, and not leaving big gaps like that, especially with Legion. But Legion was a whole other animal.
Yeah.
So I guess we should tell everybody what the basic premise is.
Yeah. Is your mic scratching? Sorry, I hear like a.
Is my mic doing what now?
I hear like as if something's tapping on the microphone, like a beat. Let me see if it's me. I still hear it. Okay, whatever. Maybe hopefully nobody else hears it. Yeah. But yeah, so the plot is basically that. This company, Prodigy, has created this advanced synthetic, and they don't want to tell anybody about it. They use terminally ill children as lab rats, and it's not, again, out of ethics. It's because the arrogant tech billionaire young guy wants to find somebody smarter than him he can have a conversation with, and for some reason he thinks kids are going to be the answer. Which his assistant kind of chides him on that, and he's like, well, I don't know. And rather dishearteningly, one of the big questions coming into the series is what was going to be the point of the show. Because Prometheus establishes that Peter Weyland went to LV-223. Granted, it's not 426, but that's where that movie takes place. And then David went to a different planet, Orgay 6. And it's like, how are we going to come upon LV-426? But this show begins where the research vessel is already on its way back from collecting alien specimens all over the place. And it's like, because that's one of the big mysteries in the franchise in general, is how did Weyland-Yutani find out about these aliens to begin with? Right. And again, Peter Weyland and Prometheus didn't know about them because they didn't exist at that time. And so in this one, they just kind of skip over that again. It's like, that part of the mission's already finished. So I thought that was kind of discouraging. That was like the big question a lot of people had. It's like, how are you doing this as a prequel, taking them back to Earth already? But they're not addressing that question unless they do flashbacks, which they might. But I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from the 2 episodes.
I think they will. They'll address it somehow. I don't know if they're going to do flashbacks. They might. Yeah. Because Weyland-Yutani, they knew, right? They said they knew what was out there, obviously, and we're seeing that now that they knew for a while, almost 100 years or 65 years, I think they say, 64, 65 years.
That's how long the mission lasted. Yeah.
Yeah. So they'd have to have known, and then obviously they they sent the Nostromo out, knowing exactly what was going to happen.
Hey, old man Bird.
It's just more of the conceit of, corporations don't give a damn about people. They're just fodder.
Hey, old man Bird. Yes, the hash-slinging slasher. Beware of that spatula and its port and starboard attachments. Hey, Herc.
Hey.
How's it going? So the budget is clearly pretty high for this show. It looked very good.
It looks great.
I was very intrigued by the other alien specimens that are aboard the spacecraft.
Yeah.
And that was kind of interesting to see, particularly the one that's like the plant that looks like, I'm like, don't get near it. Like don't, it's opening up its petals and reaching for you. Move away from it. Like, don't get closer.
Right.
That was kind of, and the lead character, she's, the synthetic, and she renames herself Wendy, as I mentioned.
Wendy.
And she wants to see her brother again, but she can't tell her brother who she is because it's like all about being secret. And he works with search and rescue in New Siam. And so when this research vessel coming back from that belonging to Weyland-Yutani is returning to Earth with these alien specimens, it crashes, as we quickly find out, is because a facehugger got a hold of somebody, xenomorph ripped out, typical chaos. And so her brother is one of the people going inside one of the skyscrapers that it crashed into to try and evacuate the building. And she's adamant that they should go save these people. And of course, the CEO of Prodigy thinks this is kind of interesting because, hey, it crashed into Prodigy in a city where our company's headquartered and hit one of our buildings. Therefore, the property belongs to us.
Right.
And she reasons that, well, because of how strong we synthetics are, we should be sent in to save them or to retrieve whatever is in there. And he defends the acquisition against the CEO of Weyland-Yutani, Mrs. Yutani, that is, while she goes in to go and find her brother. We're introduced to another character, a cyborg, who apparently knew that this alien was getting out. That leads questions like, okay, did you deliberately sabotage the experiment they were doing to make sure that this would be the outcome? Because on the one hand, you can tell that Yutani didn't want it to crash into Prodigy territory, but on the other hand, this guy aboard the ship Hollow just seems very suspicious.
Yeah, very sus. And the whole thing is crazy. Like, let's send a deep space research vessel out to alien planets, pick up alien life forms we know nothing about, put them in, hold them on the ship, and then fly them back to Earth. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, jeez. I mean, they could have done, in my opinion, they could have done several episodes of just of the lead up to that. I get it. That's alien Earth, so you got to get to Earth, but it would have been interesting to see them, sit that part of it too.
Right. Like I'm remembering, the mission, the Tyrago mission from the original Alien vs. Predator video game, where you go on a ship that has a research vessel, whatever, what happened, and you got to move through and see the aftermath of, and it's like really creepy. It's like, yeah, have a whole episode of something like that, And granted, they did Alien Romulus last year, but that was even smarter because they actually have the research station in orbit rather than down on the Earth.
Right.
They don't seem to be that smart with this one, but so this cyborg is what's his name again? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's up to nefarious beings because when he attacks two of the rescuers who come aboard the ship and leaves them
Morrow is his name.
Morrow, that's right. He leaves them to be attacked by these alien leeches, and it's not really clear what it does. Like, it sucks a lot of blood from them, and then it just pops out of their chest like a pulsating mass.
Yeah.
And it's like, ew, that's kind of...
Yeah, it was gross.
Yeah, so you're seeing these other alien specimens. The show also deals with the fact that, now that we've put a child in an adult synthetics body, they're mentioning how, well, because you're a robot now, you don't have any hormones, you don't have certain emotions, and all those mood swings you're not going to get, and so we can control those levels a lot more. And she's like, well, aren't I still human? Because she's a human consciousness, but others are like, but Kershaw's like, well, no, you're just a robot. You're not a human anymore.
Right.
And so there's that back and forth because you could tell that the CEO kind of treats them like property.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one thing I did like, and I think it sets up avenues for later episodes, and if they continue on with seasons, is they didn't in the very beginning on the ship, and I can't remember off the top of my head what the ship's name is. I wish I had done a little more research on that.
The Magnum.
Yeah, that's right. They don't go through. They show you a couple of the alien species that they captured, and are holding, but they don't catalog them, right? They don't go, oh, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, XYZ. They kind of show you here and there a couple, but we don't know exactly how many different species there were actually on there. So that gives the writers and the showrunners plenty of room to play with that and bring, because we don't know how many were on the ship, we don't know how many escaped out into the after the crash. So there's plenty of room to work with.
Yeah, and it's like I wonder if going off of what Ron Perlman's character says in Alien Resurrection, it was like Earth, what a shithole. And then at the very end of the movie, you get back there and see what he's talking about.
Right.
I wonder if any of the specimens on this ship getting loose has anything to do with why Earth became a disaster.
Well, I wonder, and I wonder if that also leads to a slowdown in advancement, tech advancement, civilization advancement, cultural advancement. They could. I mean, if this thing wipes, and why most seems like, anyways, most human beings are living off planet.
Yeah, and we know at least it'll take a while because Earth was still seemingly normal by the time of the Aliens film, which was in the 2070s, I think, was that one set, or the 2080s, whatnot. But so they're leaning into that. I could tell that the fact that all the synthetics are like Wendy and the Lost Boys, that the CEO is called Boyd Deverett, is basically Peter Pan. And I'm wondering how far they're going to carry this kind of analogy with these characters in terms of where it's going. Because even one of them is named Smee, even. I'm like, okay. So I'm wondering who's hooking this analogy. But I'm also
I wonder if that was the pitch. I wonder if Noah Hawley said, listen, I've got this great idea for Peter Pan in space, but we'll just make it an aliens movie.
Right, because they take her to some island somewhere, like some tropical island away from the city. Right. And it's like, okay, this seems kind of neat. And the second episode actually has a lot of action because most of it is, infiltrating the skyscraper and the crashed ship to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And it builds on tension and suspense. And then you have some comedy in there where you have these people having this like 18th century French Borgias party and they don't want to evacuate the building. And it's okay, this is a little weird.
I mean, the first episode is kind of slow because they gotta set the table for you. But the second episode's pretty gruesome. I mean, there's some good kills.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised, like, to your point, they don't show them any cataloging the specimens and that they're skipping right. I get that it's called Alien Earth, but titles aside, it's like, title could be anything.
Yeah.
But there's some type of reason why they wanted to skip that far ahead to this cyborg just sabotaging the ship and leading to this that I would love to hear more about, because unless he wants to keep the mystery of how they found LV-426 just that, another mystery, and keep it, something for the audience to keep dreaming about.
Sure.
So I was you're right, it's a little bit of a slow start, and I'm like, okay, I'm wondering where they're going to go, because they're pitching this whole idea of this tech, how you can now upload a human consciousness into a robot, is like, oh my God, you've just created immortality for humanity. It's like, this is amazing. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be addressed in a big way because they're spending so much time on this dynamic and these characters. Now she's trying to adjust to being in a fully matured female body where she was just a child before, which gets kind of funny at times, but it's like,
it is. Jeez, what are these getting away?
But it's like they're juxtaposing that.
Away when I run.
Yeah, but
I mean, but that's one of the things that would happen, right? That's what.
Right, but they're also juxtaposing this against a Xenomorph story, which is why I'm wondering.
It is, yeah.
Because this is an 8-episode series, so it's like, I wonder where they're going to go with this.
Yeah.
But the production values were there.
Yes.
The Xenomorph is pretty vicious. Great. Yeah, and for some reason, it doesn't seem to like cyborgs, because it kills everybody when it comes out of the netting, but then it just kind of sniffs the cyborg and just lets him go. And I'm like, it wasn't even eating the other people, it was just whacking them with its tail because they were there and disturbing it. So why did you leave the cyborg alone? So it's like, whatever. Little things like that. But there was some cool cinematography in there. It just, I admit that the show didn't so far completely win me over, because again, they're already skipping ahead and racing to Earth. It's like, oh, we're skipping a lot of stuff, it feels like. But I'll go with it. I'll see where it goes. Because again, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Yeah. I'll be interested to see what more of Earth kind of, looks like, besides what we've already seen. And I guess that Miss Utani is the current head of Wayland Utani, since they don't really, because it's only been 31 years in the timeline since Prometheus when Peter Wayland ate it. So we'll see if they delve more into that company, which I'm sure they will.
Yeah. I was surprised they showed her actually so early in the show, which
Mhm.
tells me she's gonna, should be a character throughout. I'm sure.
Yeah.
So far, like I said, I like what I'm seeing. I don't think it's the best show on TV or anything like that, but it's up there. It's good. It's nice to have a pure science fiction show on TV that's with this kind of production value, and hopefully it holds out.
Yeah, I do predict that whatever's going to happen, that it won't fare well for Prodigy as a company. I think that I think maybe their attempts to try and seize the research is going to backfire on them when all hell breaks loose, and it's like, oh, Wayland Yutani's like, hey, it's his fault.
Right. Yeah.
But then again, we got to find out. Look,
if they kind of dive into some of the politics, the technocratic whatever politics.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because it's like the way they're homaging the original movie with the helmet with the text writing, the computers, the chamber where you talk to Mother, and that. I wonder if they're going to take it a step further, and what if they reveal that the cyborg who sabotaged the ship was part of corporate espionage from a rival company?
Right? I mean, because it would make sense for what we've seen so far, right?
Yeah, it would totally make sense.
Because he's not. I mean, he doesn't make any sense. Morrow makes no sense to me right now.
No, because he's just in the chamber. He's ignoring everybody's cries for help. Everything's going on. It's like, I bet you he had a lot more to do with this. And again, this seems like this is against Wayland Yutani's interests to crash the ship in the territory of a rival corporation, controlling that. Because again, they didn't just say that there's 5 corporations on Earth. They run the Earth. They control the Earth, which is why Wayland Yutani can't just go in there and take their shit back. So they obviously didn't want it to crash there. So I think there might be some corporate espionage going on here.
That makes sense to me. For sure, because he's acting whacked, and I don't. Yeah, so it's either some kind of imperative that he has, or there's something going on that we don't know yet. But it's very intriguing and it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm liking the show so far. I think it's good. I think, even if you're not a hardcore Aliens fan, I think you'll dig it because it's well made.
It is. Yeah. And again, they are also tackling interesting sci-fi concepts so far.
Yeah.
Hopefully they run with the right direction with it, and then it's not just going to be an action carnage show. But it's Noah Hawley, so I don't expect it to be just that.
No, if he does what he did with Legion, or even what he did with Fargo, I mean, his Fargo series is pretty good.
Oh, excellent.
And you know that because you watched Cass and Scotty's review of those
of all 5 seasons.
All 5 seasons.
And
some were better than others for me, but some of them were really good.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be, because it's an anthology series, it's going to be hit and miss for some people, but and I think they'll eventually do a 6th season. I'm not sure what the plans are long term for Alien Earth, if that's going to have. I mean, the critics, they gave them apparently the whole season ahead, because I was reading that, and some of them really liked it. Others thought that there wasn't enough of a story to stretch into 8 episodes, but we'll see. It was kind of like how the second episode didn't feel so much like its own episode. It was like continuing the action adventure aspect of the end of the first episode. So it's like one giant, 2-hour premiere.
Yeah. And I would assume.
And it ended on a cliffhanger. So we're probably going to get even more action and stuff with the next
one. I was going to say, I assume that it's going to be kind of a running 8-hour presentation,
like semi-real time figured, or not exactly real time, but almost,
And I don't think you're going to have like episodes that are self-contained or have resolution.
Yeah, sure. This is the show that Timothy Olyphant is in. He plays the android Kirsch, and he has solid white hair, and he does a good job playing that too, because he doesn't have much personality. He's kind of He's kind of like the guy who bosses around the kids who are now in their synthetics, and tells them what to do or whatnot, leads the team. But he still goes by the name Kirsch. He doesn't go by any of the Peter Pan names.
I did like. I mean, the Boy Genius does make, and you brought this up, make the comment that he's data smart and not wisdom smart. But to me, I mean, he's been around for a while because he imparts wisdom to these kids.
He does.
And so there is wisdom there.
Well, I think part of it is that the tech bro guy is probably just arrogant and dumber than
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just
like all of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my girlfriend in bond.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's just a rumor.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully. I don't think.
For those who don't know, there's a rumor going around that Jeff Bezos wants his girlfriend or his wife, who has no acting experience whatsoever, to have a front and center major role in the next Bond movie.
Yeah.
Not being reported in any of the reliable trades yet, but I wouldn't put it past Bezos.
No, it was some kind of like entertainment rag, I think. But still interesting.
Yeah, and so that's like, okay, the tech bro.
That sounds like Bezos to me, though. So I mean,
yeah. So we'll see what this kid's and that's a funny name. His first name is like Boy, or that's what his, or unless that's like a nickname.
Yeah, Boy Genius.
Yeah, Boy.
Different Prodigy. The Prodigy.
Well, yeah, it's the ego aspect of it. Of course, he's going to call the company Prodigy. They named after himself because he thinks of himself as hot shit. Like, he doesn't mind insulting one of his most trusted advisors right to her face. He's like, I want to talk to people who are smarter than me. Oh, thanks. Oh, you're smart, but you're just not,
you're not on my level.
Yeah, you're not on my level type thing.
And it's holding a pretty high score for a TV show, 87%.
Okay, yeah. I mean, again, this is a big deal because it's the first time we've got a live action Xenomorph franchise TV show.
Yeah, and with kind of even with some of the AVP stuff, I mean, it could have gone really bad. It could have gone the other way. It could have gone south really fast. And who knows? I'm not saying that this show is going to be the best show of the year or even really good yet. It's only 2 episodes in. But if it continues on and basically just drawing on the experiences we've had with Noah Hawley's other series, I think we're in for a pretty decent show. And it probably, the best we could hope for at least right now. I do think they're going to do multiple seasons of this show, just based off of kind of the anticipation and then what they've delivered so far. I think, and what I'm reading from other critics who've actually seen the whole series, probably season 2 is a lock. I don't know how much further it'll go than that, but yeah, very interesting show. This could have gone. This could have been really bad. Like I hate dunking on the CW all the time, but it could have been like a CW, shit show, and it's not. It's really.
I also wonder, with the facehugger eggs aboard the ship, are they going to go back to the original movie's life cycle of the Xenomorph, where it creates its own facehugger eggs, or is this the idea that it's a queen that they maybe they stole the eggs from somewhere and just had them aboard, as opposed to a queen maybe being aboard the ship?
Yeah, it's there's so many questions. There's still so many questions, and that's the problem and the fun, right? With starting a series like this. I did like that they gave us 2 episodes though to kind of get 2 hours in.
Yeah.
And not just, especially with the way you kind of have to do that table setting in the first episode.
Yeah, especially since the first
it needed that second episode to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you needed to get to the alien carnage part to satisfy fans. When you tell them it's an alien show, it's like, yeah, well, we kind of have to get to that early. Old Man Bird says, we did see the Fargo reviews. Never seen Fargo itself. That's right. You did see this, Old Man Bird. Thank you for joining us for that.
Actually, you should. They're really good. Really good show.
They are very good shows. One of my favorite shows on TV, actually. Like technically, it's still considered on TV because the show's not, canceled, even though it's an anthology thing. So it's like whether they do it, maybe they do, maybe they don't. But yeah, I thought this was an okay start. I mean, I wasn't won over by the protagonist. I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea of putting the child's mind in there, and other than addressing that, like in the very beginning, when she first wakes up in the other synthetic body. Because they mentioned that she doesn't have hormones or mood swings or anything, it's almost like they move ahead with plot stuff. Like, I wonder if you're going to get back to her being... Because the other synthetics seem to still act like kids. Like, they were kind of worried that they were going in for search and rescue. Yeah. They're kind of acting like kids inside the ship. They're like, should we touch these little plants? And they're like, no. Where she's kind of a bit more confident, or if not, maybe mature is not the right word because technically,
But maybe
not
maybe
exactly
it is
sure
because
how much. Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to me, and maybe I only watched it once, so
Hmm.
forgive me if I'm getting this wrong, but it seemed to me there was time, a significant amount of time had passed before once she woke up in this new body,
Hmm.
and then when they made the rest of the Lost Boys. So I think her kind of having that time to kind of get used to kind of what's going on,
Hmm.
right? Body, and maybe that matured her more than the others, right? It's just, and and I don't know, maybe it's just her personality, and that's fine too. But
Hmm.
the the lady, the actress who plays Wendy is Sydney Chandler, and her father is Kyle Chandler,
Hmm.
which I didn't know until today.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of her
She's really good.
before.
I thought she was good in the role.
Yeah,
I like the brother too in the role,
he
Hermit.
looks really familiar too. I can't remember who that is.
Alex Lothar. I don't know. I don't know if I've
Uh,
seen him in anything else. But yeah,
Probably
cool
not.
cast. Relatively unknowns.
Yeah,
Besides obviously Timothy Olyphant.
yeah,
But
he's like the biggest name in it
yeah,
so far.
which probably kept the budget down so they could spend it uh, on the great sets pieces that we got so far.
Yeah.
Um, in kind of the previews for what we're going to see the rest of the season, it looked consistent, so it doesn't look like there's a drop off.
Hmm.
Sometimes the first couple episodes are awesome, and then the production value goes down.
Right.
It doesn't look like that's the case, and in fact, we're going to get a little more, spaceship stuff or ships in atmosphere too.
Mm.
Which is interesting. So we'll see how it all plays out. But good, I think good start so far. For me,
Yeah.
it's a really good start. I like these kind of shows, and I don't mind slow burns. I don't need to see action all the time.
Yeah.
I want a good story, and so far I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I'm intrigued too. I mean, I admit I wasn't like scrambling for the next one, but hey, man, I'll stick with it, of course, because it's Alien.
Oh, I'm ready. I was ready to watch the third one right after when the second one ended, because it did it like you said, it ends on a cliffhanger. So I was like, oh man, let's go. I got to wait a week. That
I was
sucks.
often surprised by how quickly they spoil the fact that, or they spoil for the brother the fact that she's the sister, which is
Oh
because she was going to keep the secret, and I was like, I wonder how this is going to. Maybe they're going to get some good dramatic tension out of this, where it's like, hey, why do you keep wanting to be around me, blah blah blah, and something would come of that. But no, one of the Lost Boys just blurts out the truth.
right. So I thought the same thing. In fact, I even went a little further. I'm like, oh, she's not going to tell him, and he's going to think she's hot and start trying to hit on her. And she's going to have to tell him, hey, no, man, I'm your sister, bro. But it didn't go that way. Thank God.
And that's crazy because he's like, no, you can't be my sister. We had a funeral. You died, all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
I was there.
yeah, it's like, this is how dark this Prodigy company is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. So basically, they bought the kids. They bought them.
basically, yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
here, we'll pay for your cancer treatment or whatever. And
So
oh, and
and that's why he treats them as property and
yeah,
not as beings.
like no sooner, like they're all being really nice to her and everything before the procedure and being sensitive. And no sooner than she's back, it's like, oh, you're just our property now object and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you can see how this is just going to blow up in their faces when they get a hold of the rest of the stuff aboard the ship.
Yeah. It's. I also thought it was odd, and maybe it's just because Timothy Olyphant's character Kish, um, he directed her specifically to go. I think it was the bridge or
Yeah.
close to the bridge where they have the pods.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's has some kind of insight, or he just wants to
I think he just wanted
get
him to
get all
investigate.
of the possessions or you know what I mean,
I think maybe he just
intellectual
wanted,
property that he can.
yeah, like as he sees the eggs on the surveillance screen, he seemed genuinely perplexed by it. So I think he was just sitting in there to get a better view and see, what's
Yeah,
going on.
and I think obviously they want to take any any kind of trade secrets or anything they got, and either bring it back to
Yeah,
Prodigy or
because they
to,
left that giant plant thing hanging from the ceiling in its place.
yeah, that thing is pretty cool. That was creepy.
Yeah, very creepy.
The little like squid eyeball guy, that guy was creepy
Oh,
as
the
hell.
cat's eye. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I'm like, dude. So there's a bunch of cool stuff. I hope they lean more into that too. I
right.
hope it's not just the alien. That's what really intrigued me about the show in general. I'm like, oh, cool. We're gonna actually, they were going out trying to find all kinds of
Yeah.
weird shit and bring
Yeah,
it
because it's
back.
like they probably went to all sorts of planets.
Yep,
That's
that
a
makes
long
sense.
mission. Yeah.
So hopefully they lean into that, and I think it actually opens the story up to do more inside of episodes, like tracking down these
Yeah.
on the loose alien creatures and capturing or killing them.
Yeah.
But so far so good, man. I think I'm on board. I'm on. I'd watch a lot of sci-fi stuff anyway. So and
Yeah.
I love TV shows. I think I like long form storytelling more than even movies. So
Yep. So, in short, this company has found a way to upload your consciousness into a robot. They keep it top secret. And then this research vessel from a rival company, Weyland-Yutani, crashes because a cyborg has been messing with stuff on the ship, causing the xenomorphs to be born and wreak havoc. It crashes into a city, and the synthetics of the rival company go in to retrieve what they can find. And the
I
girl finds out that her brother finds out that she's actually the sister, and at the end of the episode, he gets dragged off by a xenomorph.
yep.
So
Um,
they go try to rescue.
I have a feel. Well, I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that technology is going to be somehow completely wiped out by the end of this series.
Oh yeah.
Weyland-Yutani doesn't get their hands on that tech.
No, they just have
because it would behoove you to have a basically an android with a let's call it the consciousness or soul of at least the memories of a human being, living human being.
Eric says, "I would agree to be turned into a robot only if I could still drink coffee. Otherwise, the deal's off."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because I remember in Alien 3, we find out that the member of the Weyland family at that time also looks identical to Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so maybe he just molded the androids in his image, but I don't think it was his consciousness in Bishop necessarily, or that it was cloned or anything like that.
I don't think so. At least they didn't. It seemed like it was completely artificial.
And I don't know if the AVP movies are canon to this timeline, because in 2004, which would be the furthest back in the Alien franchise, is when the first Alien versus Predator takes place, where, again, you have Lance Henriksen playing Mr. Weyland, who goes to the Arctic, and they find, those creatures. But again, that would mean that a descendant of his looks identical to him many generations. Who knows? Boss people like to. They've done that in movies before, I guess. Sure. But I'm just going to assume that.
I think if you asked Noah Hawley, he would say that when he was writing, he wasn't thinking. He wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think AVP is probably canon to this.
I think he's. I mean, this seems like it's taking a lot of inspiration from Alien, the original Alien movie. So I don't think he's gone any further back than that.
Yeah. And I'm surprised they haven't put out a comic or something to try and finish David's story. Because last we saw him, he was on that ship with all those facehuggers. He was going to go wreak havoc, and it's like, well, maybe he brought him to LV-42s. I don't know, because it's like that's another lingering plot thread that probably won't get resolved.
Yeah. Dangling participle.
Yeah, it's just gone.
They should do a comic.
Yeah, or hell,
Or
maybe
something.
they give
Or
him a shout out
a
on
book.
this show.
Somebody could write a book, do a novel, or something.
Yeah, or you might get a shout out on the show. Who knows? Um, yeah, but I think it's off to a decent start. So we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm not super excited. It's not like it's the best. Like I said, it's not the best show on TV. It's really nice to have a good sci-fi, a high quality sci-fi show to watch again.
Yeah,
I like that.
sure.
While I'm waiting for the return of For All Mankind.
And I
Although
like it.
Foundation's on right now too. The Foundation is a wonderful show.
And I like that this show is coming on the heels of Predator, Killer of Killers, and by the time this show is over, there'll be just another
Yep.
month until you get Predator Badlands. So keeping
Killer
the
Killers, it shocked me how good it was. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it turned out to be. It was really good.
so we're keeping both of these franchises going at the same time, so that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, but
this
we
is what happens. You get either an auteurist director or showrunner, or people that really are really fans, creators that are really fans of the material, like Dan Trachtenberg and Noah Hawley. You can tell they love the franchise.
Yeah.
And they're their respective franchises, and they're doing really good work. I mean, Dan Trachtenberg resurrected the Predator franchise out of the ashes. I mean, that was basically dead franchise, relegated to the ash bin of history, and then boom, Prey came, and I get the criticisms. It's not a perfect movie by any stretch, but it completely resurrected that franchise, in my opinion.
It did.
And what he's done, what he did with Killer Killers, I loved. We'll see what happens with the sequel. I like the fact that we kind of taking it place somewhere else, just telling kind of an isolated story. Didn't pick it up exactly, like doing a sequel right away. You can always go back to that. And the way that Killer Killers, kind of the end of Killers, leads to all kinds of avenues if they choose to take it, which is cool.
I agree.
So it's interesting. Two franchises that were kind of, if they weren't completely dead on their very last leg. And now we're back. Now we're back with Predator, back with Alien, and I would assume at some point, they'll cross over again.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah,
definitely. And do it better and right this time.
Yeah, they're not going to put out any schlocky stuff anymore, like AVP Requiem and or Alien 3 or 4, things like that. It's like, no.
I have kind of a soft spot for Alien 3.
Yeah, I like the extended cut.
Yeah.
Less of an alien movie, more of an interesting, like, prison dynamic type movie, which is interesting, and survivalist story. And yeah, I like the ensemble in Alien Resurrection, but that movie's a little weird.
Yeah.
Especially in the ending. But Romulus was good. I liked Romulus. I thought it could have been scary. I didn't think it was really scary, but
I didn't think it was that scary either. But I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was well done. I'm kind of a sucker for Fede Alvarez anyway, so I mean, I like his stuff. But I liked that. I thought that was well done. I actually liked the prequels. I didn't think they were that bad. I mean, people shit on them, and maybe rightly so, but I didn't think they were the god awful pieces of trash people try to make them out to be. There's good stuff in there in both of them, but I did like what's the other one? Covenant. I like Covenant a little better than Prometheus.
Yeah,
they still rank at the bottom of the list, just above the AVP movies for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is great, man. I can't, I like I said, I can't wait to watch more, which is good. Good start.
Yeah.
I guess we can sign off.
Yeah.
Now we'll thank the chat and stuff.
Yeah,
we'll be back. I think we're gonna review this since we both like it. We'll keep going the rest of the way here.
Mm-hmm.
From now on, we get one episode a week. So there'll probably be a little shorter shows, but that's fine. We'll just get on here and have a little fun, talk about the episode, and chat with you guys in the chat, and should be cool.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks everybody. Herc 130, Old Man Bird, Buckaroo Brothers Productions. Thanks for coming. Yep. Thank you.
Peace.
Herc says, my problem with the Alien franchise is I just don't like all the ooze, gore, icky, sticky, creepy stuff. Well, it is a horror franchise.
Hey, but some of them have good stories.
Yeah. I also like in the credits that they credited specifically Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett. It said based on elements created by.
Watch the credits.
Yeah, it said specifically, and not based on a story. It said based on elements created by Dan O'Bannon and Ronald Shusett, which I thought was surprising because, well, I guess they did, because it's almost like they're going out of their way to not credit Walter Hill and David Giler, who rewrote the script. Which I get because Dan's script wasn't as bad as they were making it out to be. And so that was kind of nice that they gave them a nice shout out for that.
Yep. No, I agree. That's cool. Yeah, I missed that. I didn't watch the credits. I couldn't believe they actually put a Tool song at the end. I'm like, oh no, Holly's awesome. For episode 1 started with one of my favorite singers of all time, Nina Simone, and then my favorite band in the world. It ended episode 2, so it was a great 2-hour watch for me.
Yeah, nice. That was good. I'll probably rewatch it before next week.
I think I will. I might do that too. I usually don't, but
yeah,
it might help. It might help to, especially if we're going to do a show.
This one might, because it plays almost like a movie. The first 2 episodes. Yeah.
Cool.
All right,
Kat. Thank you very much. I guess we'll see everybody next week. We'll do these every Thursday, and maybe what we'll do, because it's only 1 episode now, maybe we'll do this. We'll do the review of the episode, and then maybe if we have time, we can just talk about the news of the week.
Yeah.
Entertainment news, and just kind of fill some space. And
I know I'll be gone for 2 consecutive Thursdays, not next week, but the week after that.
Yeah.
But we can schedule around that too. Yep. Thank you, Old Man Bird. Very generous.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. All right. Until next time.
All right.
Kat, Steve.
Peace.
Peace.